Welcome to the new city of Chag F. That's the theme of my show this year. We're at West End. And the genesis of this is my Uncle Gary passed away this year. He walked out of a high security Alzheimer's unit in southern Colorado. Of course, the disappeared, and of course the corporation that runs the facility took no blame for this, and they found his body 3 months later in the woods. And then when they took it to the funeral home, the FBI showed up there shortly after because the funeral home was selling body parts. So it kind of gives you a snapshot of dystopic America. And so what I remembered about my Uncle Gary is that when he was about 16 or 17 years old, this is about in the 1960s sometimes, when he was about 17 years old, I remember he wrote a story, and I was the only one. My sister couldn't remember, my uncle couldn't remember, and I was the only one that remembered this story that he wrote. And I remembered the smell of the paper, and I remember the typewriter he wrote it on, and I remember the drawer he hid it in. I remember he was real secretive about it. And my Uncle Gary's he was the kind of guy in the family that we share the same DNA, but he was kind of pessimistic and kind of a little weird. He was the much youngest of three siblings, so he was kind of grew up in a home that I quite didn't understand, as a kid. That was a little more dysfunctional than I thought, and he was kind of a wounded person. Never married, kind of a pack rat, a guy that hung out at the dog track, the kind of character in a Tom Waits song, "What's He Building in There?" But I'm the only one who remembered this story. And after my sister goes to collect, goes through his stuff, she finds this one story that he wrote, probably the only story that he wrote in his whole life, and she mails it to me. And it was like the most weird, strange, surreal object to get this thing. And it was exactly like I remembered. It smelled like I remembered, and the crossed out words were like I remembered. And it was just this touchstone to, again, we share the same DNA, we share the same family history. So there's something in that as a touchstone. There's also this idea about art. I mean, what lives and what doesn't, like a seed that, a million seeds will get blown to the wind and one seed will take root. Well, this was as likely as everything to get tossed in the trash, nobody reading it, so he would have made this creative effort, his probably one creative effort, and it would have gone nowhere. I mean, it would have just been oblivion. And suddenly, because it got back to me and I was able to breathe some life into it and use it as a kind of a strange shamanic object. Starts out, northern desert, cold, bleak. A man appears and buries a box. And it was about the revolt of 2137 and the inventor of the X machine. And at the end of the story, the computers take over, the robots win, people are used as a fuel source for food, and very dystopic. And so I embrace this, and my kind of story is, if we know the Bible, he who overcometh shall inherit. And in my story, where Alpha meets Omega, 3 slacker robots shall inherit the earth. The big leap came when the robots laughed, and it ended not with a bang, not with a whimper, just ha ha ha. And why not 3 slacker robots? Because what the robots want, these are the robots that have kind of want what the humans want, and it's like a starting over. They want to feel. They want to take a shower. They want to go to the bathroom. They want to rub up next to other robots. They want to feel love. They want to be left in the shed to look at the wall and read Camus in French and not have to go on another job continually. And why not 3 slacker robots? And so this is what I've been painting. And dystopia is, I'm an optimistic person by nature, and I also feel that art should have a have a sense of optimism in it. It should leave you with some bit of hope, because otherwise I have, this isn't my own personal introspection. I'm hoping that I'm communicating outside of myself, and that I have something of worthy purpose and something worthy to say. Also, but as an artist, you have to channel what's real, and what you're really feeling and what's really coming down. And I feel, well, as we're speaking, the Amazon is on fire, so I don't think, it could get much more dystopic than that. So you have to be honest of what's, what's really happening around you. So this has allowed me a vehicle so that I don't have to mirror the political day-to-day, which other people do very well. But what I find, if I try to mirror the moment too much, things are happening so fast that I'm downriver too quickly. So this has allowed me a way to just feel what's in the air. And again, it's not, the dystopia one feels is not all out there. A lot of it is in here. A lot of what we're blaming the other for, and a lot of, the scapegoating that goes on is within us. So this is a way through art, through this revelation process of painting, where you have this direct, it comes down and you just take it down as it comes, paint it as it comes, and try to have as few filters, and not be scared if you're, not be scared if what you do scares you or reveals you not in a particularly good light, or is too dark for anybody to want to see. I mean, that's just the artist's job. And so what I found is Shag F, so the three slacker robots. Life is hopeless, but it's not Bob hopeless. So Bob hopeless, then there's Lair Curl Mo, who's the second robot, and there's Smike, who, if you know, you're Charles Dickens from Nicholas Nickleby. So those are my three robots, and they're telling me what's going on. And it's a story of Alpha and Omega. So it's the very beginning of time. Saith the prophet Lepton, lock the doors. This crowd is no fun. And so it's kind of futuristic sci-fi, and I've never done sci-fi in my life. I've never read sci-fi, but I'm finding this vehicle through my uncle's story, and here we are.